Hello everyone, welcome back to Believer Science Academy, Bengaluru. This is topic of the day. Today, we will discuss one of the most contentious topic in recent Indian history, that is the Manipur violence. Today's video will discuss everything about Manipur violence, why did it occur, and also the current relevance, that is the recent visit of Narendra Modi, which has been the most awaited visit of any prime minister to any particular region in any country. So we'll discuss the visit of Prime Minister Modi to Manipur and its implications, what are the challenges, and also the background to this Manipur issue. Okay. Next, this marks the first visit to Manipur since the ethnic violence between Meitei and Kuki-Zo communities erupted in May 2023. Over the last 27 months, the state has witnessed over 250 deaths. 250 is the official number. When the official number is so high, you have to understand the unofficial number is many folds higher. Mass displacement, armed insurgency, imposition of president's rule in Manipur, a statehood taken away, the state government, state rule taken away, and the president rule was imposed because of the gravity of the violence there. Next, disrupted inter-community relations. These are the things that happened in the last 27 months since the violence broke out in May 2023. So now on September 13, 2025, Prime Minister Modi is finally visiting Manipur. So we'll discuss about this, who are the Meiteis, where they live. This is the Manipur, which is one of the seven sisters in the northeastern region, and it is also called as the gateway to Southeast Asia. There is a Moreh tunnel, sorry, not the tunnel, Moreh Pass, which is present in Manipur, which is called as the gateway to Southeast Asia, gateway to the ASEAN countries. So we'll discuss the timeline first. When did the eruption or the ethnic conflicts even begin? From 2023 to up until now, that is 2025. In May 3, 2023, ethnic clashes began. Violence erupted between two major communities, that is the Meiteis and the Kuki-Zo community. The Meiteis are the Hindu communities of Manipur, whereas Kuki-Zo are the Christian tribal communities of Manipur. Okay, so it started in Churachandapur. And what was the reason? The reason was because of the demand for ST status by the Meiteis. The demand for ST status by the Meiteis and the Supreme Court's intervention to fast process this ST status. So the Kuki-Zo protest against the Meitei community's demand for the scheduled tribe. Riots, arson, and killing spread across the state itself. Next, May-July 2023. This was the time period of escalation. The country, especially the part of Manipur, saw violences of unprecedented manner. Over 250 people killed, thousands were displaced from their areas or regions, and armed militias rise within both communities. Armed militias, that is nothing but another name for the insurgent groups. They started fighting against another community with the help of their own money, their own power, their own guns, which they trafficked illegally from Myanmar and China, etc. etc. Internet shutdown were imposed and curfews across many districts. Relief camps established, more than 50,000 people got displaced from their hometowns. So, this is the area where the initial violence hit down. That is Churachandapur, when the Kuki-Zo Mizo groups, majorly the Kuki groups, started fighting against the Meitei groups. You can see the Meiteis or the valley groups who are living in the Brahmaputra Valley or Barak Valley, actually Barak Valley, where they are living in the valley regions where they are involved in agricultural activities. Whereas these Kukis, they are majorly tribal communities who live in the hilly areas, hilly areas, hilly areas, and this is surrounding them is the Naga groups. Naga groups mainly are found in Nagaland, but some part of Naga groups are also present in Manipur as well, because they are tribal groups and they do not adhere to this state-based demarcations. Okay. Next, August to December 2023. This saw the armed group activities. Kuki-Zo militants and militias consolidate the territorial content. Both begin to consolidate and both begin to own their own territories. They started controlling the territories themselves, not the government, not the police, not the army, but militant groups of Kuki and Meitei. Next, buffer zones created by security forces between the valley Meiteis and the hill Kuki-Zo areas. So, to keep them from fighting between each other, there was a buffer zone created by whom? The government, that the army had to intervene and create a buffer zone itself. Next, separate talks begin between center and the Kuki-Zo insurgent groups. Center started asking the demands of Kuki-Zo groups. What is your demand? Why are you protesting? Why are you involving in illegal activities? Why are you involving in all these insurgent activities? So, in the next January to February 2024, saw the political pressure. There were demands for resignation of CM N. Biren Singh increased. He was the chief minister belonging to BJP party in Manipur, and the demand for his removal or resignation began, especially from the opposition parties. Meitei community grows frustrated with the prolonged instability and also not adhering to the demand of SC status, and Kuki-Zo groups call for union territory status under the central control. Very important. The Kuki-Zo groups wanted to remove the statehood of Manipur, and they wanted Manipur to be converted into union territory under the central control. If not the whole of Manipur, but at least the hilly areas of Manipur where the Kuki-Zo are living, that had to be demarcated, and that has to be given as union territory status. That was the demand of Kuki groups, but that was not the demand of Manipur government, not the demand of Meitei communities. They wanted it to be intact. Next, February 17, 2024, major clashes in Moroi. As I told you, Moroi is the gateway to Southeast Asia. Gateway to Southeast Asia. It is one of the mountain passes in the Manipur hills. Fierce gunfights in the border towns of Moroi, or 25 killed, ethnic cleansing like displacement resumes in fringe areas. That instability, or the war, or the fights were so grave that it was almost like witnessing ethnic cleansing itself. One group attacking another group and killing people indiscriminately. One group attacking another group and making them displaced from their area indiscriminately. These were normally seen during the wars period. These are normally seen during whenever there is a genocide happening. This was the situation in Manipur. Next is the March to June 2024, when the tensions were high, when there was election on the way. Election for the center parliament. National elections were conducted under heavy security. BJP wins again in Manipur but fails to form government due to instability. What happens next? November 2024, the last major clash. Renewed violence erupts in Kangpokpi and Churachandapur again. These areas, the Churachandapur and Kangpoki, the demand for ST and opposition for ST, as well as the fights between two groups commence. Highest fatalities since May 2023, with more than 30 people killed there. And February 2025, the political shake-up. That is, CM N. Biren Singh finally resigns and the president's rule was imposed, and it was welcomed by Kuki-Zo as well as Meitei moderates as well. Okay, so now April 2025, border tensions rise. Free movement regime was scrapped. What is this free movement regime? Free movement regime is a agreement, you can say, is an agreement between government of India and government of Myanmar. What it does allow is, it allows free movement into 16 kilometers on both sides of the country's borders for 72 hours. Free movement till 16 kilometers on the border side for 72 hours. Why? Because the communities which they are living in these areas are tribal groups, and for these tribal groups, they do not adhere to demarcation by the government. Their families, okay, their families are spread across both the countries, so they do not want, they wanted continuous movement. So this was agreed between Manipur, or the government of India, and Myanmar. But this free movement regime was misused by the militants of Myanmar. This was misused by the immigrants of Myanmar. They started trafficking drugs, trafficking cattle, trafficking many more things. So the government finally scrapped this. India Myanmar border fencing begins, because during this time many of the drug dealers or the drug traffickers on the Myanmar side started jumping into India. They started jumping into India. They started cultivating drugs, cocaine, etc. in India as well. So India understood that in the times of these instabilities, these free movement regimes are being misused by militia or militias across both borders. So the government had to take a stern decision, and as a result, it banned this free movement regime. Next, United Naga Council imposes trade embargo in protest. Trade embargo. What the United Naga Council started doing is they started they started covering all the highways. They started covering, or they started misusing all the highways or the connectivity to come Manipur and rest of the India. They covered these areas and they put trade embargo on this Manipur. Okay. Next, July 2023, the resettlement plan was announced. That is, the Manipur government launches three-phase settlement to close relief camps by end of 2025. Only minor returns, that is 5,000 people, are reported by September. We have to wait and see how many will be returned. And September 13, 2025 to the current day, that is Prime Minister Modi visits. And before this, there was another agreement between the center and Kuki-Zo, and center and United Naga Council, whereby both communities agreed to drop the arms. Both countries agreed to stop this trade embargo. Now, after all this, finally the Prime Minister Modi is in Manipur. So he arrived at reviewing progress on resettlement, highway movement which was stalled by the Naga Council, political transition from president's rule to a democratic rule again, border management with respect to free movement regime and the cross-border movement between Myanmar and India, and dialogue between the communities such as Kuki, Meitei, Nagas, Mizos, and all the stakeholders involved in this conflict. Then, five key challenges in the conflict hit Manipur. So, what are the challenges in front of Prime Minister Modi? This is what is our topic of the discussion for the day. This is what we discussed till now is the background. Now is the real story. Okay. Next, displacement and rehabilitation. That is, over 57,000 people remain in 280 relief camps since 2023. So, they have not been replaced back to their habitats. Displacement patterns like Kuki-Zo driven out of Impal and valley towns. Mate is displaced from hill or border towns like More, Kongokpi, and etc. So, Cookies, if this is the valley and this is the mountain region, Cookies were displaced from this valley region to mountain regions, and people in the mountain region of Metis were displaced back to other areas. Okay. Government's three-phase resettlement, which was announced in July 2025, aims to close all the camps by the year end. The phase 1 will be returned to fringe area residents. Second, phase 2 and 3 is provide prehab or prefab housing to as normalcy returns. Okay. Next, only 5,000 people have been returned so far. Progress is very slow. We have to wait and see if it will be done within the deadline or not. Next, restricted movement and the buffer zones. That is, security buffer zones are now divided between valley and the hill districts. Free movement is blocked, that Metis are confined to valley and cut off from the highways, and Cookies can't access Imphal airport or valley facilities. Okay. So if you are going to cut down highways, Metis said that we are going to cut down airports. We are going to cut down all the other amenities that are present in Imphal, that the capital city of Manipur. After attempts to open the highways in early 2025, fresh violence erupted again. Current status is Kuki-Zo groups allow essential goods to enter the valley, but no mutual agreement exists on the reciprocal movement. Okay, but in the recent uh, agreement between the center and this Kuki-Zo councils, they have agreed to remove the trade embargo, and we have to wait and see what will be the implications in the future. Ethnic tensions and lack of dialogue. Despite the end of large-scale clashes, the tension still persists between both communities. Both groups are armed and still distrustful. Ongoing separate talks with both sides, that is, Kuki-Zo insurgent groups, agreed to maintain Manipur's territorial integrity, meaning Manipur will remain as a state. Manipur will remain as a state, and it will be under the state rule, and Manipur will not be taken as a union territory, but simultaneously demand union territories with the legislature. Okay. Next, Metis see this as a contradiction. viewing talks as a legitimizing insurgents. Metis call this, instead of suppressing the insurgents, why are you dealing them with talks? So they are also not in support of this particular talks. And Kuki-Zo still allege bias of former CM Biren Singh's administration towards Metis because he belonged to Metis. Next, political vacuum and president's rule. CM Biren Singh resigned in February 2025 under the pressure from both sides. President's rule was imposed, which was welcomed initially, and now Valley-based Meitei and Naga MLAs are demanding restoration of an elected government and citing public frustration with the administrative delays. So, after the president's rule of almost 5-6 months, now they want the democratic government or democratic rule to be restored. Next, Center is in no rush to restore the political leadership, prioritizing stability over elections. Center is like first maintain the stability there. Let all this demand for various things and all the issues of these things settle down, and then we'll discuss about rest of the things. Border security and Myanmar fencing. India-Myanmar border is now at a flashpoint. Meitei groups accuse illegal Chin Kuki-Zo related migration of fueling unrest. Chin communities are mainly found in Myanmar, who are very notorious for insurgency, drug trafficking, etc. etc. But they are tribally related to Kuki-Zo communities. So, may it say that the Kuki-Zo communities are using these Chin communities to bring uncertainty, bring instability, bring arms into the valley communities or valley of Manipur. Next, center revoked free movement regime and began border fencing. Free movement regime allowed local tribals community to travel up to 16 kilometers across the border so far 72 kilometers as expensive. This has angered Kuki-Zo and Naga communities with ties across the border. United Naga Council imposed but later suspended the trade embargo in protest as I explained to you. So this is the current context and these are the challenges ahead of my Prime Minister Modi. We have to wait and see what Prime Minister Modi will come out of it or come out with. Conclusion is, it is a stage in fragile recovery. Prime Minister Modi visit comes at a critical juncture. While violence has declined, deep-rooted ethnic fault lines, security restrictions, political uncertainty, and border issues continue to stall meaningful peace. Efforts like settlement, dialogue, and fencing will only succeed if they are inclusive of both governments or both communities, grounded in trust building, accompanied by transparent governance and political reconciliation. So this is about Manipur issue. I think I covered this from a holistic point of view. If you like the video, then please hit the like button. If you have any doubts, if you have any comment for me, write down in the comment box. If you want me to improve certain things, you can write in the comment box all because I'm open to suggestions. So with this, I will end the video. Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka.